There you go. Fancy, right?
Hey, nice.
That's right. Okay. You already know how this works, so you can see the comments as they come up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. We're pros at this now. I love the system. So, all right. As I wait for my usual clan, I'm hoping that more of your people will show up as well.
Yeah, I've been talking it up. I tried to at least. So
there you go.
I think I'm gonna tag some people here.
Yeah, I've tagged a lot of people of mine. So hello to my aunt is here. Welcome everyone. So new background if people haven't already noticed. So at least for Thursdays, it's the Brian and Dan hour. So it's just us. And for tonight, anyways, it's just going to be us. So John Clark, hello, welcome.
Hello, John.
Hello to my other aunt. My aunt Valerie is here as well. So so Daniel's here. So every Thursday, Daniel will be joining me.
Yep.
To do a show together. Who knows what's going to happen? So hopefully we'll have some guests on. We'll have some interesting topics to talk about. And it's going to be different for me because I was going solo for a while. And it got to the point where I was just tired of talking just to myself. Sometimes you get that way. So, and then it's always nice to like talk to somebody else. So, and who better than Dan Peyton, right? Right.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I did my show. It's been over a year now that I've been doing my own little private live show and by myself. One time, my only one guest I ever had was Brian.
Me.
So I didn't have guests, and it got to the point that I felt weird just talking the whole time. And since I was reading a chapter, an episode from a unpublished book series, I started pre-recording them, which made it easier on me, but it was also so I wouldn't be doing this the whole time.
Right.
So technically I was, it's just part of it was recorded.
Absolutely. So now you used to do Mondays and Fridays. So you have kind of 86th your Monday show. You're going to keep your Friday show.
Yeah.
And Friday's the one where you read the chapters from your book, correct? Okay.
Pretty much why I'm keeping that, and that show might actually come to an end when I get done with that. But I wasn't done with this book series that I wrote. It's got 4 books in it that I've never published, but people are enjoying it, so I'm going to finish at least to get to the end of it, and then I may put on a hiatus, cancel, whatever. But it's I was doing too much. I at one point realized I 7 days a week, every day has something else scheduled, and I was like, I got to pull back on something. And unfortunately, that was one of the things I could cut out. But I still enjoy being live, so this is a great way to do it because then once again, I'm not by myself all the time either.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it gets to be a little too much, and you have to step away. So that's why I went from 2 days to 1 day. So I am only Thursdays. I may pick up another day if my schedule allows it, but it's getting pretty tight. So because I work on Sundays, I work 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So then, sometimes you're not out right at 6:30. Then I have the drive home and just trying to plan a show and kind of being late, and it just wasn't working out. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do Thursdays for now, and we'll go from there, and we'll see what happens. So, yeah. Well, there you go.
And the fun thing for me is that a lot of the guests you get on here have what they do is something I have experience with, mostly writing, but you have artists and you have actors and musicians and all the above I have experience with. So I can help interview from experience, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And what better co-host than an author to interview another author? I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah. Hello to my sister. More and more people are starting to join us. Yeah. I can't believe it's already 8:20. That's weird. All right. But anyways, so the plan is every Thursday with Dan, and then slowly we'll work some guests in. I'll try to get some more. And then you can bring on whoever you want to bring on. Makes no difference to me. And for those who are continuing to follow along with Dan's book, which one are you reading, by the way?
The one I'm reading is the Joseph of Egypt story, which is an alternate fantasy story,
Okay.
alternate history fantasy story. So, it's a very unique little genre. If you ever read anything by Rick Riordan, that's kind of what he does, is
Okay.
alternate history fantasy. And
Right.
so I have fun with it, and I've never published it. It was literally written for fun, and people are enjoying it. So
There you go.
we'll
Yeah.
go with it.
Okay. All right. I remember you telling me about that series a while back. So, yeah. Speaking of books, any updates on our second book?
Well, I finished a once through on edit for me, which I always like to do before I go anywhere else. But my publisher is really excited about it because Braxton Cosby, who's the publisher I work with, he he loves my Earth's Last Starship, the first book. It's one of his favorite of my books. And so when I told him I did a sequel, not only is he excited about that, but I put him in the sequel.
Mm.
Commander Cosby takes the role of the first officer because Sherry has, in the story at the end of the first book, Sherry has no spoiler here, but she parts company with the crew because her life takes a different direction. So as the story continues, he needs a first officer, and I thought, well, I'll put in Braxton. So Commander Cosby is now the first officer, so he gets a pretty good role in the story.
Cool. Cool. I can't wait to read it. I can't wait. Oh, I know it's a ways away.
Oh yeah.
But yes, but I have something to look forward to. So yeah. Absolutely. What else have you been working on?
Well, my big project that I have been working on outside of my job, which is the gaming company, is a book I've talked about before called The Owl-Headed Wand. And it's a middle grade fantasy book. And for those who don't understand the difference, middle grade fantasy is just a step below young adult for the age. And to give you an example, is most commonly understood is Harry Potter. The first couple Harry Potter books really are middle grade. They're not, your average young adult. As the books progress, the characters grew up. The story kind of got a little more, grown up. So it started being more young adult. Well, this book is more middle grade, and I love the story. And so I decided I wrote it 3 years ago. Kind of let it sit for a while. I edited it a couple times myself, and then I decided I'd go whole hog, and I started hiring some very good editors, some expensive editors who are professionals. And the first one I got, she was an editor for the Hunger Games series.
Okay.
She's done editing for the Goosebumps books, which that's middle grade right down the line. So I was like, this is perfect. She's right in line with it, and she's worked with some bigger companies. And when she sent me back her notes, I was intending on self-publishing this, like I did the Winter Wizard Chronicles, because it's in the same universe. It's not. It doesn't continue, or it's a prequel. It has nothing to do with the Winter Wizard Chronicles characters or storyline. It's just in the same universe.
Right.
So, anyways, I would self-publish this. When she sent her letter back to me, talking about the edits and corrections and all, she put a note on there saying it was one of the best middle grade / young adult books she's read, and she doesn't want me to self-publish. She feels the book is worthy of being submitted to Scholastic, or a company of that size, which is massive.
Right.
So that just blew me away. So my hope and my eyes are set a little higher on it, and so I'm working again. You hire multiple editors. I've got another editor that's doing the last edit for the book before I submit it. And again, I use a site called Reedsy, which is where you get editors who freelance, but a lot of them work for big companies, and on their off time between books or something, they'll freelance a couple books to make an extra money. So these are highly credentialed people. And I put it out there for the last editor, and the lady who I picked out, who was eager to do the book, she works for Scholastic.
Oh.
So it was like, wow. I mean, this really was doing great. So we're in the process of that. So that's a lot of work. But in the world of publishing, in the world of writing, on my end of it, it's a lot of hurry up and wait, because I got to find it, I got to look for it, I got to go, and then I hand it off, and then wait. I can't do anything. I got to let them sit and do it. So I'm at that stage of I'm waiting for it to get back to me. So excited, but and I just have a good feeling this is going to be a unique success. I'm hoping it is.
I hope so too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who do we have on? Oh, nobody new. Yeah. Don't forget to like and share this video. Share.
Yes, let everybody know about this. I'm going to go and share it now. You do the same thing. Like it. If you're watching it, comment so we can see that you're here. Just say hi. Ask a question. If you want to know anything about publishing and writing and all that, I know a little bit about that. If you don't want to ask a question about anything, I'll try and answer it. Brian might know the answer.
Hello, John.
Hello, Mr. John Schoenfeld. And that's John and some other people like John Clark, John Schoenfeld, a few other people who join in, like Chris Evans as well, are part of my Heroes Rising group and the game I work for. And some good news for you guys, we still have a lot of stuff rolling out in the game right now. It's a big birthday month for the game. June is when the game was released 2 years ago. And so we're doing a lot of stuff in that. And it's been my responsibility to write a bunch of new story, a bunch of new cards, all kinds of stuff. And I worked over the past 2 days, a good 8 hours of just sitting in front of the computer, preparing new story and new patrols and new things. So it's got a lot coming.
And for those who don't know, this is a Facebook game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's a role-playing game? Is that what you call it? Or is it called something else? Not so much role-playing game. I don't know what they call it these days.
I'm trying to think here. It's old school style. It's a click and play game, but there is some role play to it.
Right.
So it kind of blends a little bit of a role playing game, a click and play game, Facebook gaming. You build your hero, you name them, you give them. I made sure that you have a space to give them a backstory, talk about who he is, where he came from, all that, and then you play the game with that hero. And so right now we've introduced a new feature over the past few months called patrols. Patrols are a lot more role-playing like than anything else, because you actually go in and do something and your character is accomplishing things or failing at things, and it changes the story as you play. So, and this is very new. We're still working it out, but it's been fun and players like it. I like it. It lets me write a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're playing.
I play here and there. Not all the time, but I do play. So I need to level up my character is what I need to do. So, yes. All right. That's always fun, too. So,
Excuse me.
What do we have? Oh, Amber. Oh, yeah. People sharing it. Social superhero. Oh, you know what? I can bring this up so I can stop straining to. There he is. Social superhero RPG. That's what I was meant to say. Okay, yes. With a community that's been playing together in some form or another for over a decade. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Yes. Heroes Rising actually is a rebirth. There was a game more than 10 years ago called Superhero City. And it was a great game. And it was a old style, flash style Facebook game, click and play, had a big community. And then EA bought the game because it was doing so well. And then EA, in a fashion they're very well known for, closed the game as well as a whole bunch of other games they had as a tax dive. And so literally tens of thousands of players pouring money like you wouldn't believe into a game. All of a sudden we're told, sorry, the game's over, and just it got shut down.
Right. Yeah.
And these people have built their characters. They had gone online and into independent forums and created storylines of their own. They built this community, and EA literally just crushed it. So moving down the line, Brain Chef, which is owned by Nick Shapiro, did games, and he was part of this community back in the day. And so he developed Heroes Rising, which is not Superhero City, but it's the same style of game. So it's got, as John Schoenfeld said, people have known each other for more than a decade now because they've been playing since that game. And then they stayed in touch. And when he announced he was doing this, they all got back together, and we're trying to rebuild the community. And the great thing and hard thing for me is now I'm responsible for making sure it's got story and playability in that. We have game designers, we have the game creators, but it's the creative content that is I think makes the game really attractive.
Well, that's always good. I like the game. I like playing it. So, and if it's been around for a decade, it must be doing very well. So
we're having a lot of fun. This month is our birthday month. We prepped a lot for it. The players kind of got a little sour with us last month because we were putting so much brain power and time into developing the birthday stuff that May kind of got dropped, that we really didn't have anything new happening. It was just the same old stuff in the game. And so players like, what's going on? What's new? Or this is getting boring. And I felt so bad because just wait, it's coming. And fortunately, they did hang around because June hit and all the stuff coming out. So it's worth it. We did it. We had a lot of fun with it.
Now the stories that you're writing for the game, is that like once a month for that whole month, or is it like a weekly thing?
It all depends. I write for the story for the game. Last year I did a lot of the year. Every single month I had a new episode for the story, which meant I had 12 chapters within an episode that continue to the story. Last year I wrote 300,000 plus words just in the storyline for Heroes Rising. This year I pulled back on it because we started developing the patrols and stuff, which I'm also writing the story for, but those get plugged in and they're part of the physical game playing, whereas my story is just the story, and then you play elements that come from the story. The patrols, you play the story. It's different. So right. I'm consistently writing something. I write the text for the cards. I title them. I write the text for in-game stuff, the descriptions of things. I write the story, of course. I write the patrols, fight clubs, the story, the announcements, anything that has to do with the story creation that's done by the game to me. We have some other content contributors that are players who help freelance and throw in some little story stuff, and they update when they have events, and they play in character, which is great. But ultimately, if it's the storyline itself, that's what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, right now tonight we're starting up League Wars, which is a big event that the players love, and it's great. Everybody gets to get involved with that, and that's part of the birthday stuff. It's big League Wars. So they're all waiting for the brackets to show up. So do you follow any sports, Brian?
I do not follow sports, unfortunately. I don't have the time to follow really anything these days, it seems. A different type of job, a whole new role, and it's taken me through a loop, let me tell you. So, yeah, a lot is happening at work. So I'm surprised that I'm still allowed to have Thursdays to myself. So I'm working 6 days a week. Thursdays is it. It's just been horrible. So, yeah.
What is it that you do now?
So I kind of walked away from the whole. I mean, if people have been watching my show, they all know that I'm into customer service. I'm into retail. So it was the gas stations. So I was either the manager or the assistant manager, and I did it for 8 years. I worked in almost every gas station here in what we call Berkshire County. I just got tired of it. So it was just beginning too much. So I work for Staples.
Oh.
Yeah. Shocker. I know. So I think everybody knows what Staples is. So yeah, I work for Staples. Currently, I am the operations supervisor. So I am in charge of what an operations manager or supervisor does is anytime you walk into the store, the stuff that's on the shelf, the displays, the shippers that are in the aisle, I take care of all of that, anything on the floor. New products going into clearance. I have an inventory specialist who works and does all the inventory and cycle counts and make sure we have everything that we need. And I pretty much take care of the store. So it's a big role. And I'm very excited about it. I love my job.
Great. That's good to enjoy your job. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's office supplies. It's easy, right? Isn't that the slogan? I don't know. Um, it truly is. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. But unfortunately, we lost our manager. So due to health reasons, so there's been a lot of switching around. We had an assistant coming in who's now been bumped up to manager. They're thinking of promoting me to, assistant manager, or what they call a sales manager. I'm on the fence about it. So yeah, a lot's happening. I've been in overtime because I've been covering for when he was out, and I've been stepping into running the store and taking care of the money and the registers, and I'm in charge of all these people, which I've never really done before. Yeah, I've been in control of employees before, but it's been like 2 or 3 with me on the shift. Now I have up to 8 people at a time sometimes. So I think I'm doing very well. So yeah.
As long
But
as they
it's
work all together, that it's doesn't matter how many.
right.
I've been in jobs that had a lot of people and they all were harmonious and we all could get along. I had worked for jobs that had 2 people on staff at a time and neither of them could work right.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a mix of different types of people. It's different because they're all part-time positions, except for mine. And most of my employees, I think, except for 3, are either graduating high school or they are starting college. So they are very young, very young. So yeah, it's different because most of the time I'm working with people that are either around my age or older. So, yep. And the manager that's coming in, he just graduated college, so he is 23 years old.
Oh.
So yeah, and here I am, 39, and my manager's going to be 23 years old, which has never happened. So this is going to be very interesting, to say the least. So,
well, I'll say this: I worked at 2 different places where I worked with people younger than me, and one of the times I worked at Blockbuster twice, and one of the times I was there, everybody who was there was younger than me. The store manager was 10 years younger than me, but he did a fantastic job. He was great at his job, and so was his assistant manager. I was a shift leader, and we all worked great. That store was the best store in the company for 4 years straight. We were the best sellers, the best. Every time the district came in, we did great. But at the same time, and not same time, but before that, I worked at a McDonald's. My one experience in working fast food, I don't ever want to experience that again.
no.
And everybody who worked there was high school age or just out of high school age, except me. And at one night, I'm there at McDonald's, and it's a very slow time for us. So I'm running the front. We had a window that ran the course around the store, but you take the orders from the front and you could do them right there instead of having me back at the window. And so I'm taking the orders and filling them. Nobody's coming in the front door. And I realized that I'm the only one cooking the food, preparing the food, taking the orders, taking the money, delivering it, all of that, because the 2 other people, my manager and one of the assistant managers, is in the back using the hoses from the dishwashing stuff to have a hose and soap fight. They made a horrendous mess. And when I looked back at them, I said, "You've got a job to do. Go do it. Where's your manager? You can't tell us what to do." I was like, "You don't understand. I have worked in business longer than you've been out of diapers practically. Let me tell you what I can do." I picked up the phone and called district. They didn't like me for that. But I mean, literally, they covered the floor in soap. I'm like, this is a hazard. You're not doing your job. I left about 2 weeks after that, and I couldn't have been happier to get out of that store. Yeah. So maturity level doesn't require age. Sometimes I've worked with older people who are the worst immature people you've ever worked with.
Oh yeah.
And that they can be some of the worst because they feel like, well, I'm old enough. I should be respected as mature. Well, I act like I'm 12.
Right. Yeah. I don't get that. The good thing about working with the younger generation is, I guess because I'm older, I'm respected. I'm listened to. Even though I may not have all the answers, but I'll find out for you, is usually what I tell them. I'm upfront and honest with them. They ask me something, I don't know, but let me find out, but it's still customer service, which I love. So, yeah, it's been fun. But right now we're doing back to school.
Mm-hmm.
School
Already?
is, I know, that's Staples for you. That's
I
Staples.
forget June hits us back to school for all those places.
Yeah. Usually, kids are out of school right about now because they go back in September. But it's a big deal for Staples, let me tell you. So there's lots of elements that are happening in the store where I have to move a row of printers because they are going where the shredders are, and the shredders are going where the telephones are going, and then the telephones are disappearing. I don't know where they're going because they're not on the map. And now we're trying to get a younger generation to come in and shop with us. Most of our 80% of our customers are either in a wheelchair, use a cane, and have gray hair.
Yeah.
I don't see young kids coming in for office supplies and stuff. On occasion we do. So now, I guess starting the end of July, or no, excuse me, the end of June or beginning of July, Staples will select stores. Let's just put it that way. Select stores will be selling PlayStations, Xboxes, Nintendo Switches, Nintendo systems. They're bringing in different gaming chairs, gaming desks, podcasting stuff. Podcasting has blown up.
Yeah.
So we have so much podcasting equipment coming new to the store. So I'm excited. I get a discount. Woohoo!
That's what I did. I'm wanted to get a new mic and new camera and stuff. I was going into Staples to the Staples here to do a drop off for UPS, and right there on an end cap they had some new podcasting equipment. It was all on sale and a really good deal, and I was like, I'm gonna check this out. I started looking at it, and I was like, hey, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Yeah.
And I blew a large amount of money, but I got what I needed. I was really happy about that. I'm also looking at getting a gaming chair, and that's where I've been seeing them is looking at what they have.
Absolutely.
I wanted to get a PlayStation 5, but God knows I can't find those anywhere. So
yeah. I hate telling people that because they say, "Oh man, I'm waiting for a PS5. I still can't get one," and whatever. I had one. I had one. It just sat there. I played it in the beginning when we first got it. It was great. Not too many games were coming out just yet for it. The Spider-Man one looks very awesome, by the way. But it just started collecting dust as soon as I started working for Staples because I just was working so much that I just didn't have time. So he sold it. So now I'm just left with the new Xbox. I do have one of those. But yeah, it was a nice machine, I'll tell you that. So if anyone has one, they're great. And if you're wanting one, get one. So
I saved money especially for that because I'm a big fan of Ratchet and Clank.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of of the Elder Scrolls and Final Fantasy like that. And most of those you can play on PlayStation 5, but you also can play other systems.
Right.
However, like Ratchet and Clank is exclusively PlayStation 5. You can't play that anything else. So it's like I want the system. And I literally had the money in hand. I was going into stores here. I'm in Southeast Michigan. We're one of the most heavily populated parts of the country. And we have Best Buys and Staples and gaming stores and everything all around. Every place. Nope.
Yeah.
So I was running into brick walls. But I'm going to get one. I am going to get one.
There you go. Yeah. Hopefully now that everything is opening back up, slowly masks at least out here, masks are not required. They are recommended now in the state of Massachusetts, depending on the business. For employees, it kind of sucks because we still have to wear a mask during our shift. The customer doesn't. But I'm pretty sure that hopefully they'll produce more PlayStation. So, and it's not just PlayStations that are at a loss here. We can't keep ink for printers. I can't keep printers, webcams. We have a shortage with vehicles now. All of a sudden, new vehicles, they can't make the chips.
Yep.
That run the computer for the cars. Yeah, I went through that whole process because I just got a new car. So yeah, it's horrible. But yeah, so hopefully, and now everyone wants to stay on pandemic unemployment. Nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
So all around town, like every store you go to, the sign for now hiring is in the window. It's ridiculous. So, and now I'm starting to see, I don't know how it is anywhere else, but you see a sign somewheres, due to the shortage of staff, please be patient. If you're in a restaurant, I noticed that when I went to Applebee's tonight for dinner, there was a sign right there. We are short staffed. Please be patient. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I have a friend down in Tennessee that was talking about how Tennessee has now passed a law that's getting rid of the extra payment for unemployment. You can still get unemployment, but the bonus for COVID is gone because that bonus is because people couldn't work. Well, people can work, and there are so many jobs open. And this person shared this. It was a post by a politician there. And that, regardless of your political leanings, what she said was very accurate. She said that one business at a meeting said, we are offering jobs at $19 an hour starting. You get full health benefits starting, and you get 401k. We have people coming in to get an application and schedule an interview because they need it to keep up with their unemployment, but they don't come in for it. They'd rather go home. And they said, the senator said this, and she's right. They would make more money on the job than unemployment, but the job requires you to work.
Right.
Unemployment, you get to sit on your butt. And so I'm like, and unemployment is necessary in the right circumstances. I'm not against that. And yes, there were times when we needed the bonus because everything was getting all screwy. Well, it's getting back, and people need to work. So that's something I'm dedicated for, because yes, you're seeing it. Businesses are suffering, and they're begging people to work for them. And they need to.
Yeah. So. Yeah. My sister said Florida did away with the pandemic unemployment, told everyone to return to work. As of the end of June, it will be no more. So right now, currently in the state of Massachusetts, the benefit for pandemic unemployment is $267. But because the government gives the extra bonus for that which is $300. So every Wednesday, or whenever it's usually every Wednesday. That's how when I was paid anyways. You're making $567 for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Which is sad because, and in some cases it's true, you're making more than me.
Oh, you're making more than me. I'm counting my job with my online game. You're making more than me. Not counting my books. Books, that's a whole different category. But yeah. If unemployment, when people make unemployment, makes more than I am working literally every day trying to keep up with the story for this game and other stuff.
Yeah.
It's unfair to people who are working. It is unfair. And that's something I agree that a lot of states are doing now. In Tennessee, again, this was one of them they're doing there. They are going to start launching investigations because you have to be looking for a job. Not just collecting applications, not just pretending. You have to be looking for a job. And what they'll do is they'll schedule interviews and not show up. Well, businesses, you schedule an interview, they get your name and number. So they can call you and say, hey, your interview's tomorrow. They give you name and number. You don't show up, they're not turning that into the unemployment office, and they're investigating people. And I agree with that. If you're not honestly looking for work, you don't deserve unemployment, because that's supposed just to be a tide over till you get a job.
Right.
Not your daily. And this isn't welfare. This isn't, a disability. This is just a tide over. A help.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, Buckley. William, what's up, Will? Damn, Brian, now I can't buy my tickets. Yeah, lottery tickets. I used to sell them at the gas station. Sorry about that, Will. Yep. It was nice seeing you when you came in.
Well, if you go to Staples, you can get a big roll of those red tickets at the raffles.
That's true. That is true. Aisle 5, okay? So, yep, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, in the beginning, let me tell you, I was working, and then it got to the point where I didn't feel comfortable at the beginning of the COVID, so I stepped away from work. I was able to collect the pandemic unemployment. It was beautiful collecting money. I'm not going to complain about it. But at some point, you have to get back to work. I couldn't just sit around and do absolutely nothing. And my theory was at the time, well, a lot of places are hiring. They're desperate for people. I have a good chance right now because really nobody wants to go out and work.
Yeah.
So I could have any job I want, really, to my ability anyway. So that's when I snatched up Staples and I got the job. So,
which is awesome.
And they're still making more money than me. So it's like, what the heck, man?
If you don't mind my asking, remind me, what does Damien do?
So Damien, he is how do I want to computer programmer? He's a coder.
Oh, okay.
So, and it has to do with our local healthcare system.
Okay, that's where I knew he worked in healthcare, but I didn't think he was like an RN or something like that.
Nope.
He doesn't do the actual medical stuff. He does the
right. He's very medical. He's got a lot of medical knowledge.
Yeah.
Because I think most of it has to do with the programs that doctors' offices and the hospital use for when you are booking appointments and lab results or tests and all that stuff. So insurance, I think is what it comes down to. So yeah, I don't know. Don't quote me, but I think that's what it is.
I have a friend who does that. He works tech support for these companies that work with hospitals and all that.
Yeah.
So I think he's the one that Damien would call if the computer systems are all down and,
Most of the time he's on call, they're asking, something isn't going through right. What am I doing wrong or whatever? Yeah. So, yeah. And the good thing for him is, he's able to work from home.
Yeah. That's that kind of stuff you could do on a computer from the house.
Absolutely. I don't think he's been to his office in, long time. I think he's popped in there like once or twice to like water the plants if they were still alive. But yeah, nobody's gone in there. So, but yeah, so that's what he does. Yeah.
So what do you miss from not working with the convenience store, gas station, whatever job? What was something that you actually enjoyed there that you can't do because it's Staples?
The only difference between obviously the gas station or the convenience store versus Staples is I don't see the same customers because you had those customers that had their routine. Mm-hmm. So either before going to work, they're grabbing something. When they are coming out of work, they're stopping at the store for either, their drink or they were using the restroom or they were buying lottery tickets, but you saw the same faces and then you got to know their names, the people coming in. Plus, where I was last at was in an area where I pretty much grew up on that side of town anyway. So like Will here, I grew up with him. I'd always see him coming in for his lottery tickets and stuff. I don't miss the lottery at all. I hate the lottery, but but with Staples, I noticed that we do have returning customers that do remember people. So, and like I said, they're an older kind of clientele customer base. So they remember sometimes. They remember you if they had a bad experience. Let me tell you, that's the first thing you hear about.
Yeah.
Last time I was here.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking that, when I missed about Blockbuster over any other job I've ever had was that, especially for a place like Blockbuster, because you have your account and you go to that store all the time. Mm-hmm. For those youngins, that was a video rental store. It's like Netflix with physical things. Anyways, I got to know them right away. I knew their name because I always saw it. I scanned their card. I see their name. I see their kids' names, their wife, their husband, whoever. And so I got to know them. When my next job after that, outside of McDonald's, was working at Kohl's. And I liked it. The job at Kohl's was great. What I did there was not necessarily customer service, so I didn't have to deal with a constant customer line. But you never really got to know your customers. Especially the department I'm working in. And one that I mainly worked in was like housewares and all. So people would come in there once in a while to buy a bunch of plates or their pots. So you don't go there and do that every week. Every day, you do it once every few years.
Right. So, yeah.
I did miss that.
Yeah. But again, there's really no difference in what I do at Staples versus the gas station. So to me, it's almost the same thing. I'm just getting paid more. But I'm in a role now where I feel like I have more control than the general manager does. I mean, operations covers everything. So if the air conditioner goes bad, I'm putting a ticket in for that. If, something's wrong with the register, I'm putting in a ticket for that. Displays, new product coming out, I'm displaying all that stuff and changing the shelves, moving the store around, which I have to do now, which we're in the middle of, which is a complete and utter nightmare. But yeah, that's me. Letting the truck in, taking in the delivery, that's me. So I have authority. I oversee any associate on the floor. I also have control over the cashiers. I have a lot of pull and say in that place. So yeah. Will you put it? Yeah, well, that's a better job. It is a better job. I couldn't handle a gas station, especially in that area. Well, I mean, yes, it had its bad moments where you got the drunk people or people selling something out of the parking lot, or which didn't really happen all the time. But you got your crazy people. You get your crazy people anywhere you go.
Yeah.
But you just flood them with kindness and how can I help you today, even if you want to rip their face off.
I'll relate to you one of the funniest stories. I had two stories in my two different jobs. I told people that working at Kohl's, working at Blockbuster, very different environments, same kind of customers. And I'll give you the stories. They're both drunk people. Now, Blockbuster, for those who don't remember, was famous for never having anything that was adult. So X-rated or unrated stuff that was too mature for family, they didn't carry it. So I got this guy come in the store, drunk as a skunk, and he stumbles up to the register and he asks me, where's your porn section? And I was like, my first response is we don't have one, because I had to say that to a lot of these people. We never have had one. But I realized he had driven in. So he was driving in that state. And I was like, no, that's not happening. So I told him that the porn section was a secret door in one of the bays. You had to open it by doing. I couldn't tell him which one, so you have to go check him. So he walked around the store for an hour, going to every bay, pulling on it. And he'd finish all the way around the aisle and he'd come back and start over again because he couldn't remember where he'd been. And during that time, I had a friend of mine who was in the police force, and I was like, you need to come here. A guy's driving who was really drunk. And, I kept him there for a good hour, kept him busy. And he got picked up for drunk driving because he drove in.
Right.
But, the second one was at Kohl's. Very first month we opened. I started there before we opened. Very first month we opened, we had this guy come in with his girlfriend or significant other. I don't know what they were. They were both drunk. She was just tipsy. He was plastered. And he was a good old cowboy. He wanted to find boots. Where are your boots? I need to find boots. We didn't carry cowboy boots. We didn't. And he was getting a little violent. And our guy who deals with problems like that wasn't there at the time. So I was like, okay, I am not going to be trying to struggle and wrestle with an idiot like this. I went and got a store manager. I'm like, guy's name was Chris. I said, Chris, we've got a problem here. I don't know how to deal with it. And Chris said, don't worry. I deal with these people all the time. Went out there, told the guy, yeah, you can come look at our boots right over here. I was like, we don't carry boots. Well, I was wrong. We do carry boots. We carry ladies' fashion boots. No kidding. This idiot went over there, got knee-high leather stiletto boots, and was trying to put them on. We sat there. I'm just over in the corner going. This is long before I had was allowed to carry something like this with me, where I could film the whole thing. I would have. That would have hit YouTube like the next day.
Yeah.
But I was just there watching it, speechless, because he kept him there. Because we called in the mall security, the mall we were in, to come and check on him because we didn't know if he'd again driven in.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Make sure he wasn't driving away like that. But this guy sitting over there in our shoe department, his leg up, janking on that thing, and it's not that this guy, to be appropriate, not this guy would normally wear stiletto boots. He wasn't that kind of dresser. He was just that drunk. So I've had the same experience of idiot drunk in both jobs.
Yeah.
I was so glad I got to work on the window at McDonald's because all I did was take the order, take the money, and shoo them along the way. I didn't have to deal with them in the front registers.
Yeah, I've only experienced, well, I mean, I've probably experienced a lot of those type of people working at the gas station because most of the, well, actually only one of the gas stations that I worked at sold beer and wine. So, but they were pretty good. I mean, yeah, you have your stragglers that hang around outside and they ask bum people for cigarettes and, money and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I've had my fair share of people. Staples is a whole totally different category as far as I'm concerned. That is your normal angry retail customers. So, that as soon as they ask for, because we all wear headsets and we talk into a mic. So as soon as I hear, Brian, someone's looking to talk to the manager, and I'm just like, oh no, here we go.
Here comes Karen.
And it's funny, and I have a story about that too. And I don't care about those titles or whatever, but because I've never experienced it, I've seen the videos of all these Karens and being videoed and the tantrums that they're throwing, and I've never experienced it in person, so I really never bothered. I just didn't care or whatever. Well, yeah, I finally met a Karen, all right. And I don't really care for that term, but it's true. It is true. Let me tell you. So, because Staples, not only do we do the office supplies, but we have a tech department. So we do things with your computers and stuff like that. We also have the print and marketing department. So if you want business cards and postcards and posters and things printed out and, all these stuff that have to be printed out, we have that department as well. And that's usually where all the commotions is happening, is over at print and marketing, because either the job wasn't done right, they weren't following directions, it's late. What do you mean you haven't started it? So, I mean, I did have a customer come in and, I'm not print and marketing. I can, if you email us something and it's just a simple document, I can print it.
Yeah.
You need a blueprint, poster, binding, nope, I ain't doing it. And then they're just like, but I did have a customer come in and I think we were about an hour till we close. He left at 7:00. We close at 8. So I'm like, oh no. And it's just, I was helping one customer, and that's what happens with print marketing. Once you step behind that counter, you're sucked in. And then all of a sudden the customers are like ants coming through the door, and they're all coming to print marketing. So I had this one woman, somebody was trying to help her. I was in lockup trying to get was it a Roku or a Amazon Fire 4K, whatever, for another customer. And of course it came over the radio. Brian, I have a customer. She's irate. She's asking for a manager. And I'm just like, oh no. No, I've been good all day. Why? So I went over there as soon as she saw me coming around. Hi, how are you? What can I do for you? She was nice as pie. My name is, and her name was actually Karen. And, my order number is, and I said, all right. I said, let's start there. So I'm typing in her order number. Now, with print and marketing, it's simple and easy. I don't know why it's difficult and we have issues. You place your order in online. It comes to us. We hit start. It knows what printer to use, what paper you're supposed to use. It'll tell you, and you just load and hit start. That's all you got to do. And it prints it. Well, it said new. So that meant production hadn't started, nothing. And she got the email and I said, okay. I said, well, it says new. So I'm going to ask you, did you get a confirmation saying that you could come in to pick up your order? Because it's not been started. I don't know. She turned it into the Wicked Witch so fast, like her complete 360. What do you mean it hasn't been started? And I don't know if I got an email or not. What's that matter? Well, because you just wasted time coming down here to pick something up that you think is done, which is actually not done. Now, I understand that you put it in today. I paid for rushed. Yeah, I understand that. I said, but unfortunately, he left at 7 o'clock due to a family emergency. I am not print and marketing. I am the operations supervisor. So usually people don't understand what that means. Operations, well, that means anything.
Yeah.
I could oversee everything. Well, that's not the case, unfortunately. So she says, so you mean to tell me that I'm talking to someone who's standing back there in print marketing that has absolutely no idea what they're doing? I said, yeah, you're pretty much correct. I can probably do 20% of it. I said, now, if it was something as simple as taking it from the computer and telling the printer to print it out and then hand it to you, I could do that. That's absolutely. So then the husband pipes up and says, well, that's pretty much what you're doing, isn't it? I'm like, yes, I can absolutely take your order and send it to the printer, but you're getting postcards. So that's a different type of stock paper or card stock or whatever paper, and then it needs to go to the cutting machine. I'm not touching the cutting machine because I've never been trained on the cutting machine, and I'm not screwing up an order. So she completely flipped and was just, so are you telling me that there's no one that I can speak to that's over you? I said, no. I said, I'm it. So she didn't like that very much. I said that, we could have this done for her in the hour. She goes, or the next morning or whatever. She goes, are you going to deliver it to me? I said, to where? She goes, well, I live in North Adams, and that's the next town up from me. And I work in Pittsfield, which is down. And I said, no. Well, how am I supposed to get it? You're going to come back and you're going to get it if you're paying for it. I said, if there's a discount that we can apply for you, you want it free, I can do that too. I said, anything to make you happy. Well, she wasn't having that. So she made a big scene. People were stopping and looking because now we're raising our voice. We don't have our order anymore. And the world is coming to an end for her. And I'm the one that's getting it. But I just stood there. So she wanted to know the person who she spoke to or that was there earlier. And I said, that is Jacques. And that's his name, Jacques. And he's a manager from a New York store that was coming over to help us. Well, he left. I guess he never started the thing or whatever. Well, what's his last name so I can ask for him? I don't know his last name. You mean to tell me that you work with people and you don't know their last name? I said, yeah, absolutely. I've only worked with them a couple of times. I don't really know them. Oh my God. All right. So who's going to be in the morning? I said, that's going to be Teresa. She goes, don't tell me that you don't know her last name because I'm about ready to flip out. Ouch. And I said, well, then this conversation is over. Have a good night. I said, would you like customer services number? She goes, no, I'm going to deal with this myself. And off she stormed. And of course, the husband's just standing there, looking at me. And I'm just like, yeah, I feel you, buddy, whatever. But it was just, and for her name to be a Karen. Yeah, you're a Karen. Now I have dealt with it. But yeah, you get those customers and, you get the other customers that are angry because you don't have what they're looking for. You're supposed to have it. Your website says you have it. But a lot of people don't understand that Staples sold Staples.com.
Yeah.
So they may say that we have it in store, but that's probably not accurate. And so it's just, they're like, wait, what? That makes no sense. Yes, it does. They sold it. During COVID, they didn't want it. They stopped. They're not public anymore for trading. So they sold all that off. So yeah. And now we're supposed to be buying Office Depot.
Yeah.
So $1 billion offer. $1 billion. And you pay me this tiny little bit. So yeah, but I love my job. I love my coworkers. I love my customers that come in that see us all the time. So yeah.
I have a list probably as long as your arm of the Karens and just anybody that I've dealt with because, again, working Blockbuster for the number of years I did, we worked with late fees. And there were always those customers who thought they could blow a gasket and throw a fit in the store so we'd take the late fee off.
Yeah.
And no matter what. And I have such a thick skin to that anymore because I got yelled at by everybody under the sun. And I learned very quickly the customer is not always right. And there were a few times that I was able to tell customers, get out of my store and do not come back in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would actually say the best story I have has nothing to do with the place I worked at. It was at a time that I rescued another employee. I was at a Walmart in Knoxville. Yeah, it was Knoxville, Tennessee. I was at Walmart. And I'm looking in the toy section because I'm picking up toys for this thing we're doing at church. And I hear a customer yelling at the employee, this young teenager, about the Lego section because they wanted to find this one special set. And there's Lego collectors that are really big, and they collect each individual special set for Star Wars or Harry Potter or whatever. And this one set just came out. Why don't you have it? He's just throwing a fit, and then the kid is like, I don't know. I don't deal with the orders. I just put them on the shelf. This guy is just like, you should know this stuff. You work this department, and isn't this your department? Yes, it's my department. And the guy just yells at him, I want to see your manager. I know what's happening. I know this guy is just throwing a little teenage tantrum, even though he's probably 40-something. And this kid is going to try to call over a manager. It's going to be a big problem. It's going to be a waste of time.
Yep.
And the guy is wrong. I know how this stuff works. Walmart they get a truck in that's automated. Nobody sits there in Walmart and goes, okay, it looks like we need this and this. No, their computers go, you've checked X amount of these. We're going to order more of them. So that kid can't say, oh, we'll order this for you. They don't do that. So I walked over there and I said, sir, I'm the manager. Can I help you? The kid gave me this like weird look. I knew he's like, who the heck are you? But he didn't say anything. He was just happy that somebody else was dealing with this idiot. And the guy he just yelled at me about not having the right Lego sets. I said, sir, I believe our store over on Kingston Pike down by Paper Mill has this toy. I can call them for you, or you can go there right now. They probably only have one left in stock. If they don't, then you might want to call the store in Jefferson City. Well, okay, I'll do that. And he left the store. That kid was so thankful because it just solved. I mean, got the guy out of the store. That's all I cared about because this kid was just trying to do his job. And I know what it's like. I know it's like to have some stupid customer who thinks to know your job better than you do.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to stop until the kid got in trouble. And I know that attitude. That's what makes me more angry than anything else, as an employee or as a customer who wants to get mad at an employee or gets mad and decides, I'm going to get this employee in trouble for not doing what I tell him to do.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have that right. And so that was my favorite one because nothing, they could do nothing to me. I'll report to the manager all I want to.
Never heard of that kind of a story before. That's fantastic. Have you ever written paranormal?
Me? Not really. That's actually not something I've delved into. I've thought about it. I write speculative fiction, which is sci-fi and fantasy. I've done some dystopian. I've done post-apocalyptic, futurism, urban fantasy, high fantasy, adventure fantasy. But no, not paranormal.
Okay. Yeah. I've been getting requests for paranormal guests. So
we need to get Sylvia back on here.
Sylvia Schultz is one of the top people that people ask for. And of course she's been coming on my show, usually once or twice a year for the last 6 or 7 years now. So, I mean, she was after you, but the same year. So since 2014. That we've been chit-chatting and talking and co-hosting and doing shows and all this good stuff. So, So I think it'll be interesting because I kind of figured you didn't write paranormal. Not that I knew of paranormal, ghosty stuff and all that stuff. So I think it'll be interesting.
The closest I've ever come to that is in the Winter Wizard story. I have the Ghost Library, but that really isn't in the same vein as true paranormal.
Right.
I do have a lot of friends in the author community who write paranormal fiction, so I may reach out to some of these people, get some new faces onto this, and talk about their books and paranormal. But I think honestly, I'd love to have Sylvia on to talk and when the other authors are there, even if she's just in the chat or something, because she'd be great to ask questions or bring up topics, because she definitely has a finger on this pulse.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do need to get her back on. So yeah, if you can reach out to whoever for paranormal, I think that's our next thing that people, well, that's what I was going to do going forward, because I like to theme things, because I just put one ad out for one type of genre, and that's usually what I end up doing for the whole month, because I get like a month and a half's worth of guests. Like I just did with the science fiction, which kind of turned into science fiction music. Don't know how that happened, but it did. So that was very interesting. Yeah, and then of course anyone who else wants to come on that please invite them on. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. So normally the shows for everyone watching and listening is at 8:00 on Thursdays. I only do that because I don't have tomorrow off. I have to get up at probably 6:30, 6:45 to go to the store for 8. I'm only working for 3 hours. Why even bother? Right? But nobody's going to be there to open the store right away. So anyways, so 8 to 9 is technically the show. So you will be seeing both of our faces every Thursday from now on, and hopefully a guest, whoever they may do. They don't even need to be an author, so they can do anything. Practically. So I'm always up to learning about new things, new people. I love chatting with people. So, and of course, anyone watching now in the comments, if you have any questions, now is your time to ask them. And of course, because it's video, we're never going to go away. So even afterwards, you can still watch it and ask your questions. We will see them. So yeah. There's always that. So, yeah.
And tomorrow night, I'll be going live with my own little show right here, show right here, that I'll be reading the next chapter in the Joshua of Egypt story. And we're going to continue that every Friday for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Soon enough, I'm going to be scheduling more book signings at actual physical locations. I've already got some requests that have come to me. I got one in Knoxville, possibly Orlando. I have one that's in Ohio that just sent out a request asking me to be there. So things are opening up, which means people are doing these events, and people have been wanting these events back. That's something everybody had so much fun doing. So I'm looking forward to that.
And hopefully these Comic-Cons and all the other stuff that had to stop will come back.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to those as well, because it's still my goal to go to one. Mm-hmm. So, and at this point, I don't care. I'm gonna go. So, but if you can go to Orlando, I'm pretty sure that some place here in Massachusetts will send an offer. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care if I have to set it up for you to come out into the middle of our Walmart parking lot and sign books. You're coming to Massachusetts.
Maybe I'll sign it at Staples.
Sure, we sell books.
I think. Yeah, I can have my publicist look around that area and see what they have. They have all kinds of.
We have a Barnes and Noble right there in our area. Yeah.
I may have to look into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be fantastic. I would go in there every day. We need to get Daniel Peyton here, and they're gonna be like, "Who's Daniel Peyton?" Well, Author Daniel Peyton. So, well, we don't have any of his books. What? You don't have any of his books? You should have his books. Totally. So, yeah, I'm going to have to put some, hints out there.
Your friends and family there to go on there and question them why they don't carry this well-known, famous author, best-selling author.
Yeah. No Daniel Peyton. What? How dare you? I'm never coming back. No, I probably wouldn't say that. But, yeah, we have them right there, and actually it's across the parking lot from Staples. So it's even more convenient. So yeah. Okay. So, and your show tomorrow is 9 p.m.
Yeah, I do mine at 9 p.m.
Okay.
So
all right. Perfect. So everyone can catch, like he said, Dan tomorrow at 9 p.m. right on Facebook. Make sure you follow him, like him, share it, do whatever. The same for us. And I hope that more of your followers move over to Thursday nights as well. They get 2 great shows now with Daniel Peyton. 2.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyone have any questions? Let us know now, or we can see them after. And of course, respond back to you. So, but I want to thank everyone for watching for our first one. And again, you never know what's going to happen on this show. So, yeah.
I'll be having fun doing interviews, answering questions. Anybody on here who has questions about publishing and offering books, anything like that, at any level, ask away. I love talking about it. I love dispelling rumors and myths about it so people understand how it really is. So just ask questions. So
absolutely. I'm going to have see, because I've noticed you got all your books back there. Not all of them, but I see the Dragon Wand series. I see Bark. So I'm going to have my print marketing people design one of those poster things for you that has Earth's Last Starship on it.
I need to update. I need to get some Earth's Last Starship. I've got Remnant. I got Winter Wizard Chronicles. In fact, Earth's Last Starship and Winter Wizard Chronicles would be great double one on one of these because they're both the Brian stories.
I think I'm going to have to do something and then ship it to you. So, yeah. Absolutely. A double one. That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. That's a very good idea. But, all right. That's it, everyone. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch him tomorrow at 9 o'clock on Facebook. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you I'll see you next Thursday. We'll see you next Thursday.
Yep, we'll be back on next Thursday. We might have a guest, in fact.
I hope so. That would be very nice. So, all right, everyone. That is it. Goodbye. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.